Round two. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. I guess first comment in the comment box. Let me know if you guys can hear me. We had technical difficulties before. I was trying something new, some wireless headphones, and from the comments I saw in the previous video, you guys were saying it was too low. So yeah. Okay, so I was able to find my headphones. Hopefully when the first person gets in, y'all will say something. I'll speak for a little bit before then. Okay. Yeah, so we got a email from one of my subbies, Quack Dracula. Shout out to you, brother. Um, and it was pertaining to a Miss hashtag Black woman and a poll that she had that said something along the or that asked the question, do black women feel more protected under white men or black men? And her comment section was full, right? And it was very interesting seeing black women's responses. The responses varied to I've bought land, I've made money with under this system. This system is best, right? To where we are now. Um, or excuse me, to black men. You right to black men being losers. We had really two answers. It was black women saying they choose neither, they choose black women leadership, and it was black women essentially saying they choose white male leadership. And there was a handful of others. The handful of others was, well, y'all are crazy, y'all are choosing white supremacy, right? There was a handful of that, and those women got, attacked in the comments, right? So it's interesting this that we're finally starting to at the fringes critique black women and other women of color and how they've internalized white supremacy, right? I would like to direct y'all to my dating racism live that I did, where there was a Dr. Chantel Bugs, if I'm not mistaken, that's her name, and she spoke to the fact that women of color, different groups of people, pretty much put white men at the top of their pick of men, right? So it is about race. Dr. Jennifer Lundquist, these are two women that are both doctorate in sociology, and Dr. Lundquist was also, from my understanding, doctorate in in demography. And both of those women came to the same conclusion that white men run the yard when it comes to women being attracted to them. Now, when we talk about protection, we talk about where women of color primarily see themselves, right? It reminds me of, for those of you that watched Dr. Tommy Curry when he interviewed with Yvette Carnell. This is back when the Funky Academic was still helping her produce her content. Um, and Dr. Tommy Curry was on, and I guess a woman had said something similar, right? She feels safer amongst white people, amongst white men, white supremacy. And Dr. Tommy's response was very interesting. And I'm paraphrasing. I might even get it a little wrong, but it was essentially like, "This is what internalized racism looks like, right? This is what it looks like." And that goes without saying. What did we think was going to happen? 5 or so 100 years, right? 5 centuries of white men going out of the Atlantic, conquering, raping, pillaging, right? Murdering, slaughtering their way through the planet, hoarding wealth, right? To the point where something like some almost 80% of all transactions in America, right, are, I mean, excuse me, not all transactions in America, all transactions on the planet are used with US dollars. It's something in the like mid 70 range, right? So you think about that, you it's not difficult to understand why these women have this kind of internalized anti-blackness, right? And specifically worship of white, right? So the poll within itself, the question within itself speaks volumes. Then you have the comments in the comment section, right? Of different black women bigging up white supremacy. They will say white supremacists and then say, yeah, I still love it. I love this, right? I've bought land. I have money. I have this. I have positions. I have jobs. Yeah, more of this, please. So that's very interesting, right? And as I like to remind y'all all the time, some of these women are the girl you're having sex with. It's the women you're having sex with, excuse me. Some of these women are your bank tellers. Some of them are your bank managers. Some of them are, that's the reason why you got turned down for that loan, right? Your principals, your deans, right? These women are everywhere. They're everyone from the cashier at Walmart all the way to some writer that you don't know about in Hollywood, right? All the way to some of your judges, some of your prosecutors, some of your supposed, air quotes, defense attorneys, right? So the young lady put that poll up, and I don't know if any of you looked it up. Oh, and it's sorry for those of you that are like, who is this person? Hashtag black woman, right? Hashtag black woman put that up, and you know, look at how many votes there were. So this is where we are now, where we have black women saying, yeah, I'm happier under white supremacy. I'm happier under white male leadership. And there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, black men, there is nothing wrong with that. You just stay away from them. And hopefully it works out for them. Right? Hopefully it works out for them. And it's interesting saying that you're safer under white supremacy, under white male leadership, and big up white male leadership when the vast majority of you are working class and working poor. Many of you still live at home with your parents or some family member or relative. Most of you don't even break $20 an hour. I promise you, most of hashtag black women subscribers don't break $20 an hour. I promise you it's over 50%. But you're better under white male leadership. Many of you got sent home, still haven't recovered since the COVID recession, right? Some of you have college degrees and you're some 20, 30, 40, 60, 80, 100 plus $1,000 in student loan debt. You're ranging from anywhere between 20 to 45, no children, never been married. Right? Driving a 10-plus-year-old car. No real relationship prospects in sight. But you're better off under this system, right? All of this exists under this system. You come from the hood, if not the outright ghetto, and you don't even realize why you're there. Oh, I'm sorry. That's black men's fault, right? I'm sorry. White male leadership, right? You don't know who Lee Atwater is. You barely know who Reagan is. You don't know why we call Nixon Tricky Dick. You don't know who Milton Friedman is. You don't know who the Chicago Boys are. You don't know who Ben Bernanke is. You don't know about any of them. But you're better under white male leadership. You have leaders of other countries, shout out to Lula, who went to the G20 back in what year was that? 08, 09? Who looked all of those people in the faces like, you blue-eyed white people thought y'all knew everything in London and New York, and y'all knew nothing. Y'all thought y'all knew everything. Y'all knew nothing. In this same, and on the same planet where this man said that, are black women who said they're better off in that same, under that same leadership. Right. Phantom ghost economy for at least the past, coming up on 2 decades. No, it's more like 15 years, right? But black women, who in majority are still impoverished, look at all of that and don't blame the people that created that system and perpetuate it, but turn around and blame black men. And the woman that puts up that poll then turns around and says something like, and she has a video coming up apparently that says black people are a crab in a barrel or something like that. Ma'am, y'all don't even know what's going on. The fact that you put that poll up, the assortment of answers, y'all don't even know what's going on. The same people that are on the bottom of this system turn around and say they feel the most protected under this system, and then defecate on black men. That has always been fascinating to me. When people put all the onus on other people that are victims of this same system, instead of talking about or even going at the people that created it, the people that perpetuate it, the people that tend to benefit from this. No, you beat up on the same people in the same bucket as you. Your biggest gripes, all the anger, the ire, the rage, the resentment is for the people that share that bucket with you, that barrel with you. All your resentment is with the other crabs in the barrel that you claim keep on pulling you down. Never that hand that keep on stuffing you down, that hand that comes from out of the barrel that stuffs you down right when you're about to climb out. Right when you pass that threshold, it pushes you back down. When you make 3 steps forward, it pushes you 4 steps backwards. No, you don't have no problem with that system. Nope, none. It's the black boys that made you feel invisible in middle school. That's what you say. It's the black boys in high school that were not attracted to you. It's the black men in college and your young adulthood, right, that are not that interested. Not the white racists, nope. Not the ones that created the system, nope. Not the ones that perpetuated, nope. Black women screaming screaming all the air out of their lungs, speaking about this supposed black femicide, right? This black femicide, and that same white man that you swear by doesn't report on it, because by your own words, black men don't own or control anything. So black men don't own and control anything, the white man does. And that same white man, under this anti-black white supremacist society, doesn't report on black femicide, right? By your own words. But you feel the most protected under that white man system, right? Oliver the Great, thank you very much for that super sticker, right? You feel most protected under this system. So hashtag black women asked that question, and that's okay, right? That's okay. For, I watched the video of Dr. Tommy Curry sitting in a classroom and black women just the young black girls in the college just trying to catch him up. And this was years ago. I watched this maybe 4 or 5 years ago maybe, right? And I'm watching them trying to catch him up, and I'm watching him just weaving. And just when he actually backs them into a corner, they just switch the question, mainly pertaining to how black men ain't ish and how black men don't choose them in college. That's pretty much where they were going with it. And Tommy Curry, being the super intelligent, educated man that he is, he knew that's what they were asking, because it always comes down to that. Why are black men such losers? Right? Why are black men such losers? We feel safer. The woman in Yvette's comment section that said we fare better under white racism, right? Dr. Tommy Curry's on there knocking the questions out the park, and they tell you they feel better or safer under this current environment. To Dr. Tommy Curry. So of course you fast forward some 4 or 5 years later, give or take, and hashtag black woman puts out this poll, and of course you're going to have a sizable, and the majority of her comment section saying, yeah, I feel safer under this system than under any black male leadership, right? And that's okay. What Dr. Chantel Buggs refuses to acknowledge is women like hashtag black women and her subscribers who said yes. And this is what Jennifer Lundquist, you could see it on Dr. Jennifer Lundquist's face. This is a white woman. You could see it on her face, the amazement of everyone chasing after white men. Everyone but black men, that is. That's black straight men and black gay men. Right? These women were genuinely fascinated by the fact that all of these women were like, yeah, let me re-up on that white supremacy over there. That includes women of color, that includes black women. Right? A white woman telling you race is the biggest determining factor above everything else. Yeah, even the income. So for those of us that say, yeah, these black women and these other women of color give white men discounts, right? You got to be Superman to be a black man in this system, but the regular white dude, they'll accept them. We're right. We weren't making that up. We're right. Your eyes weren't lying. And hashtag black woman says, ask this question. Do you feel more protected under white male leadership or black male leadership? And black women decide black male leadership. At least her subscribers. And yes, that's a biased sample. Of course it is. But once again, many of those women you run into daily. Some of them are your sisters, your girlfriends, your wives. Yeah, you think all of those women are single, or all of those women that hashtag black woman has as subscribers? You think all of them are single, or all of them are not, or with a non-black man? Right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Right? Once again, Oliver the Great, thank you for the super sticker. They feel safer and more protected under white male leadership. Meanwhile, they're 40 with no home. Whoops. Meanwhile, some of them have been roughed up by white police officers. Whoops. Daniel Holzclaw going around Oklahoma physically assaulting black woman after 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 black woman. And they feel safer under white male leadership. And that's a white Asian mix, man. Nothing to do with black. Ain't no black man in sight, but y'all feel safer under there. Right? Black woman gets into a back and forth argument with a white guy. Wait, where was that, in Texas? Because she went down the wrong road not knowing. White guy takes out his gun, holds it in one hand, smacks the phone out of her hand. She pushes him, and he backhands her. And wait a minute, we caught all of that recorded, and she was able to press charges on him. Why was that again? Oh yeah, a black man with a cell phone. Well, why didn't he go rush the white guy? The white guy had a gun. Feel better under white male leadership, right? Mm-hmm. In Florida, where was this? Somewhere in Central Florida? White guy harasses black woman about parking in a handicap parking. Her man comes out and pushes that white guy away. White guy kills her black boyfriend. But y'all feel safer under that white male leadership, right? That white guy that would have maybe done the same thing to that black woman. Now her black boyfriend is dead. But y'all feel better under white male leadership, right? Okay. Black women get into a back and forth. She's at work. She has to do her job. She works outside. She gets into a back and forth argument with the white man. He hawks up the biggest loogie. You know, the one that from the mucus that sits in your chest? He hawks it up from all the way down there and spits in her face. But y'all feel better under white male leadership. Well, they don't kill us as much. You're not around them as much. We don't even got to mention, well, I'll say their names. Rest in peace to these two women. Asia Maynard, Lauren Smith Fields. But y'all feel better. Y'all feel safer under white male leadership, right? Black women get into arguments with their white boyfriends. In public, that black woman go missing. And the white boyfriend isn't even under investigation. All right. Mm-hmm. Y'all feel safer under white male leadership. Our marriages last longer. Our divorce rate is lower. Your marriage rate is almost sample negative with white men. 1% of white men marry black women. Y'all feel safer under white male leadership when white men refuse to marry black women under a white male led home? Huh, that's interesting. So you feel safer under white male leadership when white individual men refuse to marry black women and really have y'all under their leadership in a home. Not in a country, right? Not in a state, not in a county, not in a city. Right? Not even in a zip code. No. In the home with you. And you feel safer and more protected with the men that refuse to actually protect you on an individual basis. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel more protected by the white men and their hateful indifference than the black men who didn't find me attractive in college. That's what this really comes down to. I feel more protected by the white man who deems me as invisible, has a hateful indifference towards me, wants nothing to do with me other than knock me off of a bucket list, maybe for the ones of them that even want that. I feel more protected with them as a black woman, right? Because some black boy when I was in middle school called me dark or made a dark skin joke. Right? Or black men are talking about how they're not so physically attracted to overweight black women. So I feel more protected by the white guy that doesn't say it because he doesn't even see me. Let's call a thing a thing. Oh no, let's go there. I feel more protected by the white guy that doesn't even make the insults or makes the jokes because I'm invisible to him than the black guy that says, babe, you might want to lose some weight. Right? Thank you, Electrician, for the super chat. Electrician says, salute, Mr. Z. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Right? So for those of you that missed the beginning, we are speaking about the poll that hashtag black women put up And my subby, shout out to Quack Dracula, asked me to speak about it, so I will. And it's nothing necessarily new. Black men already knew that black women thought like this. And other women of color, by the way, right? And other women of color also, by the way. And there is nothing wrong with that. But they got to deal with the consequences of that. You live in the system of white male leadership and rulership. You feel safer with Steve King and Mitch McConnell. Whoa. Paul Ryan, Bill Clinton. That's who you feel safer under. That's what you're saying. You feel more protected under those men. You feel more protected under Joe Biden and his son. Oh man, Hunter Biden. You feel safer with them. You feel more protected with them. Okay. Newt Gingrich, Bob Dole, right? You feel safer with them. Right. That there's nothing wrong with that. Right. Detroit said so they voted for white men. Of course. And thank you, Detroit, for the super chat. Yes, of course. And like, that's okay. Look, all these women have known is white male leadership and white male protection. They ignore the black man that helped them change their tire. He doesn't count. Right? The black man that helped them change their battery. He doesn't count. Right? The black man that pushed their car out of the road for them. He doesn't count. The black man that does the roofing for their apartment complex or their home. He doesn't count. The black man that put in a good word for her at work. He doesn't count. The black male bank teller that really pushed the issue and got her the loan. He doesn't count. The black uncle that stepped in when her father wasn't there. He doesn't count. Right? The black stepdad that stepped in when her father wasn't there. He doesn't count. The black boy that brought her to prom. He doesn't count. Right? The first black man to give her an orgasm. He doesn't count. Right? The first black man or black boy that made her feel really wanted and desired. He doesn't count. The black man that just held the door open for her. He doesn't count. Right? The black boy or black man that helped her put her stuff in her car. He doesn't count. The one that carried that 24-pack of bottled water up the stairs for her at her apartment. He doesn't count. Right? None of that counts. That doesn't count as protection. Right? None of that counts as protection. Of course not. No. Right? Terenzo Jones, thank you for the super chat. Terenzo Jones says, salute, Brother Z. This protection thing is hilarious to us. Vets who are still alive, I must say. Where's it at? Yeah, okay. They don't know. Like, wait a minute. The disproportionate amount of black male soldiers in the military compared to the actual black male population of the U.S. that are actually doing the protection, because the U.S. be getting itself into some stuff, and so it sends its soldiers out to protect all the assets and all the ill-gotten gains, let's call a thing, right? And so all of those black male soldiers, right, they don't count. That's not protection. Once again, a disproportionate amount of black male soldiers, that doesn't count. No, of course not. In the Navy, right? Nope. In the Army, nope. In the Marines, nope. None of that. Whichever one of them in some alphabet organization we don't know about, nope. That doesn't count. No, it doesn't. right? Better use, thank you very much for the super chat. Better use is safety from people who have no shared experience or investment in their well-being. Makes sense how? Look, better you, it doesn't make sense and it's not supposed to make sense. This is the way they feel, okay? And they feel more protected under this system, right? With Schumer, right? When Barney Frank was in there, with all the weirdo stuff he was getting up to, right? And Paul Ryan, and Bush Jr., and Bush Sr., and Clinton, and Reagan, and Tricky Dick Nixon, and Johnson. They feel safer under those guys. They feel more protected under those guys, right? Victor Creed said, there is a lot of black men in the ground from protecting black women. I just gave an example a minute ago, right? Y'all remember the, and let me give that example again, actually, before I forget. The example of the black man in, I think it was Orlando area, Central Florida area, that the white guy shot in the chest, the front of his son, killed the man in front of the man's son, because the man went to go protect his girlfriend from this white guy harassing her because she parked in a handicapped parking space for all of 2 seconds. Then y'all remember, this is underage in Texas. The young girl that went to the pool party, young black girl, petite black girl, went to the pool party with other people. The cops get called. The cops decide to harass this one black girl, slam her to the ground. The two young black men, young black boys, excuse me, let's not even call them in because neither one of them were 18. The black boys rushed the cops and the cop pointed a gun at them. So let's go through this again. Those black boys could have lost their life attempted to protect a black girl. Remember, I said black boys attempting to protect a black girl from a white man with authority and power. And they could have lost their life. And according to Miss Hashtag Black Woman puts the poll up and asks this question. But many of her subscribers say, yeah, they feel safer under that white man's leadership and authority. Right? They feel better under that man's leadership and authority. Right? So, you feel better, you feel more protected. That, I promise y'all, if I had Thanos-like powers and I wanted to be petty, Mr. Z doesn't do petty much, but if I wanted to be petty, before I change the world for the better, just in America, not even all around the world, every black boy that's about to be born, all the way to the black men that are going to die like in the next 2 minutes, I would Thanos snap all of us out of America. Not for a day, not for a week, not for a month, not even for a year. Let's give it 10 years, a decade. And then we'll come back and see how black women fared. Black women would be so much, according to Miss Hashtag Black Woman, subscribers, all the people that subscribe to Chrissy and Paris Milan and Real Talk with Yanni, all of you, all of those women, we would Thanos snap black men out of America. Not for a whole century, not for 100 years, just a decade. They wouldn't know though. That's the thing. They don't know when black men are coming back. A decade. And if Miss Hashtag Black Women subscribers are to be believed, that would be the best thing in the world for black women. Because no longer would black women be tethered down with black men's image. And the world would just open up for them. And America would just open up for them. And they would be able to prosper. Because finally black men are out of the way. White men don't have to worry about black men anymore. And so all of these non-black men would just marry black women off. And protect and love and cherish black women. And black women could sail out in the sunset with all of these non-black men, or for those of them that are LGBTQ, all of these non-black women. And they would be fine and everything would be perfect. And they can truly experience white male leadership without black men getting in the way, without black male interference, right? The electrician 480, thank you for the super chat, brother. The electrician 480 says, Mr. Z, we have to remember that BS has always been under the protection of white men. This is why parroting their talking points, white men. This is why I think you're saying they're parroting their talking points, white men. Yeah. Right. This is according to many of the women, and let's be fair. Many of the women in hashtag Black Women's comment section were like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all might be taking this too far. Right? Some of them were saying, no, y'all might be taking this too far. Yo, Gammy said, with a blonde wig, Mr. Z, don't forget the blonde wig. Right? And that's okay. Look, like I said, this is their prerogative. This is the way they feel. This is the way they feel. We can't take away from the way they feel. They feel more protected under white male leadership. The same white male leadership, which is the reason why black people are in the Americas now. That same white male leadership. That same white male leadership that said, screw all of the everyday people, we hoarding all the wealth. And as a matter of fact, screw even our fellow white men, our fellow white women, screw them. That's the same white male leadership, right? That these particular black women feel safer under, right? You're living in what feels like 20% inflation, and they feel safer and more protected under that leadership, right? Hey, that was the question, right? Detroit says, meanwhile, China are trained killers with their children. They feel safer under the white male leadership that's about to use Asians to cut white women's proverbial head off in the education system and watch black women's body drop. Oh, y'all heard it right. I said cut white women's head off and watch black women's body drop. I know what I said. The same white male leadership that's going to use this whole Asians going at affirmative action conversation to get white women back in the kitchen and having these babies, these white babies, which is going to backwards crush black women, but black women feel safer under that leadership. That Supreme Court house. There's only one black man in the Supreme Court. But y'all feel safer, more protected under that white-led Supreme Court. Because who's the Chief Justice right now, right? Who's the Chief Justice right now? But y'all feel more, safer and more protected under that leadership. Right? We can't take away, y'all, we can't take away from what this is their feelings. Right? It's one thing to say, cut your nose to spite your face. This is deeper than that. Right? This is way deeper than that. And this is why a white woman, Dr. Jennifer Lundquist, was shocked by watching women of color pine for white men. A mixed black woman, Dr. Chantel Buggs, excuse me, was also shocked by watching women of color pine for white men. White men with beards, excuse me. This is why Dr. Sharice Burton-Stelly, a black woman, said black women, and a fairly attractive black woman too, said black women are being positioned as the mammies of empire. And hashtag black women puts this poll up, and black women show you, we're down with white men. And not just white men, let's be very clear. White male leadership, which means really the top 1% white man, the destroyers of the world. Elon Musk is about to wage a whole anti-social justice warrior campaign with Twitter, and y'all feel safer and more protected under his leadership. Right? You feel safer under Elon Musk's leadership. The South African, ooh, goddamn, Mr. Z. Huh? You feel more protected under Jeff Bezos' leadership, who had his employees peeing in bottles while they're driving trucks to deliver packages. Right? You feel more protected under his leadership. Bill Gates' leadership. I dare you to start a operating software company right now. Do it. Go ahead, do it. All you sisters, all you black women, y'all feel safer under and more protected under white male leadership. Go ahead and start a computer software operating system right now and see if Bill Gates don't come and take your head off and put it on a pike. But you feel more protected and safer under white male leadership, right? Uh-huh. White male leadership. When you say white male leadership, you know you're talking about all of those men I just mentioned and way more. Was it a Rahm Emanuel in Chicago that made the cover up? Was that what's the name of the young man that they shot in the back and then they covered up the evidence for the longest time? Then you had the cop in California with the OJ trial. What did he call the, excuse my language, what did he call it again? The nigger box? Where they were electrocuting people and making them confess? Those are white men. And by the way, under his own, making them confess even to crimes they didn't commit, and he knew they didn't commit. Victor Creed, that's quite literal. Victor Creed says they feel safe with the Proud Boys, and that's literally they feel safe, more protected under the Proud Boys. That's not just a figure of speech. I mean, the Proud Boys, there's a few of them, few white Proud Boys with black wives. Aquan McDonald, thank you, Trell Bentley, yes. Aquan McDonald, yes. That was the brother they shot and tried to cover it up. As a matter of fact, not tried, they did cover it up. Y'all feel safer and more protected with the white man that shot the brother in one of the Carolinas in the back while he was running away from him. Shot him in the back. Shot a middle-aged black man in the back. This man was running slower than slow. Running away from the police officer. Clearly not a threat. Shot him in the back. White officer shot this man in the back. The man was how many yards away? Not a threat whatsoever. But you feel more protected under that. Okay, fine. Those are black men. They don't count. We don't care. Okay. Right? How many black women have died at the hands of white male police officers? Y'all feel safe, and there's always a cover-up story, but y'all feel more protected under those men. By the way, which is a pretty good indication or example of what white male leadership look like when they come into contact with black women. Ooh, goddamn. Ooh, jeez. Right? Not the big umbrella of white male leadership, which still crushes you. But on a day-to-day basis, what happens when white male leadership comes into contact with black women? What happens? right? And so if black women feel more protected under white male leadership, there's nothing wrong with that. That is their view of the world. That is their perception. That's how they feel, right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, everyone. That is how they feel, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're going to have to live with that consequence of thinking that white men protect them truly. Definitely protect them more than any black man will ever, right? You hear this often. White men protect their women. White men do this. White men do that. Patino, anyone? JonBenet Ramsey, anyone? Natalie Holloway, anyone? Any white woman that goes to Eastern Europe from America, anyone? What happened? That's a white woman leaving one white country and going to another white country. What happened? White men protect their women. Whoa. Huh. Every other day it's a missing white girl or white woman. But yeah, who got kidnapped by a white man. Disproportionate pedophilia, white men. Even more than their percentage of the population, by far. White men. Right? But black women, many black women, most black women, quite frankly, and for that are subscribed to Miss Hashtag Black Women, feel more protected by these same type of white men. Hey, they let their guards down in presence of these white men. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right? So we will not take away from the way these black women genuinely feel. And like we said, this is a biased study because it's Hashtag Black Women subscribers. So of course they're going to say these type of things. And we're not going to take away, if we're going to be fair, we're not going to take away from the black women. It was a sizable minority of black women that said, yeah, y'all might be taking this too far. I don't like black men that much, but I'm not going to pretend like white men are that safe. So we're not going to take away from those women, but they're still subscribed to Hashtag Black Women. So there you go. That's always interesting. You want to get that energy off, that anger and rage and resentment towards black men off. Maybe you can't afford therapy or you don't access therapy, so you're subscribed to all of these enraging content creators, the Chrissies and the Paris Milans and the Real Talk with Yannies and the Hashtag Black Women. So you're subscribed to them. And then when they go way off the reservation with most of their subscribers, now you're between a rock and a hard place. Because you're only subscribed to her because you want her to say all the sexist, misandrous things about black men. But then her and her other subscribers start flirting with the concept of being in a relationship with white men, racist white men, anti-black white men, right? To the point where you even have people like Lexus Exodus, where her and her subscribers are turned on, they're getting wet, right? They're jizzing their panties for the racist white dude in California who got caught saying on top of N-word. Even his mother didn't sanction it. He got recorded by one of his white friends doing this. And those of you that supposedly don't want to take it that far, you're still subscribed to her though. Right? Because you see this as therapeutic. Listening to one anti-black black woman, anti-black male black woman talk crazy about black men all day until she go too far. And black women like that are your son's teachers. Ooh, damn. You wonder why she recommended your son to start taking some ADHD medication. Okay. It's all fun and games until y'all come in real contact with these anti-black male black women. Your son, your boyfriend tell you the the black woman was the HR that helped to get him fired at his job, right? Right? So hashtag black woman. I mean, she put the poll up. Nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that, right? And so I'm not gonna belabor the. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what's going on with me, but yeah, I'm not gonna belabor the point too much. You know, the poll, the question alone speaks volumes. Just the question alone speaks volumes. Cool, right? And by the way, this is supposedly, we're in a hyper individualistic society, but yet these women are still looking for leadership. So there's that. There are the women that said, no, I think we should be leading ourselves. So we're not going to take away from that either, right? I had to mention that also. But okay. But most of her women said, most of her subscribers said, white male leadership, white male protection. Nothing wrong with that. They got to live with the consequence of their answers because we're under white male leadership right now. People are living that right now, right? You know, black women are living under that protection right now. You got what you wanted. The banking system is led by white people, white men, excuse me. The political system is led by white men. The education system is led by white men and white women. You have the white male leadership right now, the umbrella of it. Most of your mayors, most of your senators, most of your Congress, white men. Most of your Congress, white men. Chief Justice, white men. White man, excuse me. You have it. Right? You have it right now. So y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And so hashtag black women, thank you for the poll. Thank you for only confirming what everybody already knew, right? Mr. Z has the shrug shoulders on, right? I got the whole shrug look, the whole like okay face on right now. Like this is surprising because all it did was confirm what everyone already thought. Exactly, Trail Bentley. Like exactly, like okay, right? And this is new and surprising because, right? So we'll leave the young lady alone to her devices, all her subscribers to their devices. That's why Mr. Z didn't make a comment or anything. I just looked at the poll, like, okay, right? Because for me to be watching Yvette Carnell years ago and Dr. Tommy Curry being on there and a black woman said pretty much the same thing to Dr. Tommy Curry. And this was what, like I said, some 4 or 5 years ago. Hashtag black women putting that poll up now and pretty much saying the same thing. It's not surprising. All right. And so when we see black women defer to white men, even when black men are in their presence, even if the black man has a higher position in that situation than the white man, you understand why. Right? And I'll end it with that. Black women, you're getting what you say you want. You say you prefer white male leadership and white male protection. You have that. That's the system you live under. How is it faring for black women? $5 wealth. How is it faring for black women? Right? Fastest growing entrepreneurs, fastest growing business starters, right? Under a system where business entrepreneurship was at a 40-year low. And most of these are single what proprietorships, I think they call it, which means you're your only employee. You yourself, you are your own employee. Detroit says, I mean, child support is benefiting them. Brother, child support doesn't even benefit black women because there's no man to help direct that money in a positive way. God damn, Mr. Z, you sound sexist as hell. I'm just saying. Child support doesn't even benefit black women as much as everyone thinks it does. Okay, she getting some $3, $4, $5, $6,000, $1,200 for a kid or two with child support. She still has no man. She's still miserable. She's still unhappy, and she's still putting that off on the kids, the boys. She still fusses them out. She still tells them how they look like they daddy whenever she's mad at them. She's gonna emotionally traumatize those children, the boys and the girls. She's mad at black men in general, black men specifically. She might have one or two dudes coming through to knock the cobwebs out every once in a while. Her children are seeing this. Her son is seeing this. He resents her. That little $600, $7,000, $1,200, that's not fixing that. So it doesn't even benefit them. In a weird way, it's actually detrimental, right? Because it enables the foolishness. Right? It enables the foolishness. It allows for them to make reckless decisions and know the government's going to siphon off money from this man regardless. Now, if she knew if she had a child from a man that couldn't afford it or whatever, and he couldn't pay it, he couldn't pay it. Period. She wasn't getting a dime from him, then maybe her vetting process would be a little bit different. She would be in a happier home. The children would be, oh, talk about protection, be more protected. Isn't there a rise for every black man you put in prison, they show a rise in like child abuse? So in other words, the more black men are outside of the black community, the higher the child abuse rate goes. Because then the handful of black men that's really on this foolishness get to run amok. And the black women can't stop it. Huh. But more protected under that white male-led system, right? Okay. Everything I said sounds sexist as hell until you actually look at the numbers. Black men do a better job at protecting black women than black women do, and white men do. Anybody want to talk about that domestic rape against lesbians? With lesbians, right? Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. What's that domestic violence rate look like for black women in relationship with other black women? So that answers the statement for all the black women that were like, I think we should be under our own leadership, not black men's, not white men's. Well, in those same-sex relationships, black women are in relationship with other black women. One of those black women lead. And the other black woman, the other black woman ends up in the hospital. Yeah, she'll lead you right into a fish sandwich. Right? So, black women, y'all stay with the white male leadership. I mean, you already have it. This is what you wanted, you got it. All right? And really, what this is a very myopic, ignorant view of the position the position that white women are on. So let me say that again. This is a very myopic and ignorant view of white women's position that these particular black women are coveting. And so they want to be under the leadership of the white men that provide this supposed leadership for white women. Meanwhile, a white girl or white woman goes missing every day at the hands of a white man in this white majority country, where white men are primarily the cops and the police chief and the mayors and the council members and the congress members and the senators. Yeah. And the presidents and the governors. Yeah. And the heads of military, the different branches of the military. Minus one, of course. Alrighty then. Okay, cool. All right. With that said, we will pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. All right, ladies, you got what you wanted. I hope you like it. White male leadership, white male protection, right? And yeah, we'll truly pause right there. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Go watch some other black male content creators, right? And also, like I always say, non-black relationship related stuff, right? That way you can have a better understanding of the world and not sound like these people here. Okay, all right, with that said, Mr. Z out.